Well, it's Tuesday Wrestling, and you know what that means. But however, there is no Impact Wrestling. If you guys have forgotten, like I did today, because I didn't realize it until I confirmed it. This particular week, there is no Impact Wrestling because it was moved to Thursday nights. So today we're only gonna do AEW Dark and the NWA Power. But however, I decided, you know what, I'm going to add another wrestling to review. We're calling it Tuesday Wrestling Plus Ring of Honor. This show took place this past Friday. So let's start reviewing all of that right now.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome, everybody, to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that are pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, matches, wrestlers, and championships. I'm your host, Jay, right here. Now, before I begin reviewing, let's talk about certain things that are going to happen this week. As you know, I mentioned earlier, Impact Wrestling is officially no longer being broadcast on a Tuesday nights. It's now officially going to be broadcast on a Thursday night. This move come about like close to the heels when NXT made the decision to move their time slot on a Tuesday, which is going to begin the following. But however, this particular week we're going to have both nights of NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver. I'm not sure if I should do the ratings for this particular week because I have that distinct feeling that NXT may have the most views for Wednesday. I'm not saying it's 100%, but I just have that distinct feeling. But maybe I should just review that particular night. However, Thursday I will compare it with other shows. For example, um, like and, let's see, Impact and NXT Takeover if they have it or not. But we'll see how that goes. And of course, don't forget we got WrestleMania this coming weekend. And don't forget GCW and WrestleCon will be doing a lot of their shows. Now, if you guys have any of the links that I mentioned, which is watchwrestling.la, wrestlingnetwork.in, and of course watchprowrestling.com, you may have to see those bundles from GCW and WrestleCon on those particular nights. Now, however, if you have the Fight TV, you can purchase those. Now, some can go up to between $13 to $20, or they have the gigantic bundle that's like 130 plus, sort of thing like that. So this is going to be a very interesting week for all of you. So I don't know how to explain it. Like I said, there'll be some certain changes regarding of the programming, but it's not going to stop me whatsoever. So right now, let's start with NWA Power. All right, so let's review NWA Power. They showed the recap of what happened last week. As you know, Chris Adonis, the masterpiece, defeated Trevor Murdoch to obtain the NWA National Championship. And of course, people are still talking about how Chris Adonis, what's his name, Nick Aldis, decided to say what Chris Adonis did to Trevor Murdoch was uncalled for, but he lied, decided to act like he thinks. But however, something happened. I'll get to that in a bit. Now, it started out with Aaron Stevens along with JR Kratos. They are commentating in the first match, not basically like saying who will be the first competitors to challenge them for the tag titles, but mostly pay attention who could potentially be coming for the tag titles. That is a smart play, but however, they were surprised to see Sal Renara. Now, Aaron Stevens says that they would give him a match, but however, not a title match. Basically, they don't think that he may have what it takes to be it. So basically, Aaron Stevens did made it clear that he is reinventing himself. Comes after the sudden passing of Joseph Hudson. We know him as Josephus and the question mark. Karate. So, first match was the end consistent of Pero and Odison taking on Strictly Business, Tom Latimer, and newest member Chris Adonis. Now, however, the match seems it could have gone into the end's way, but once again, Camille shows up to give the helping hand, which she normally does, and that's what happened. But however, Thunder Rosa still has her issues towards Camilla. As you know, Camilla beat her to be number one contender. But however, she attacked her last week when she was in a tag match. Now, what is the purpose of that? I think the story is Camilla's like saying, okay, I got the number one contendership. That's it. But however, it's still not enough. You got to remember, Thunder Rosa is one of the top wrestler in the women's wrestling all over the world. Doesn't matter where, but I think Camille feels a bit of jealousy knowing that Thunder Rosa as the top, winning the NWA title probably would be meaningless for her. But if you get rid of the one person who is standing in your way to obtain that status, that's how you do it. But of course, Thunder Rosa was not afraid to confront the other members of Strictly Business. She is like on fire, but however, she was interrupted by what's her name? Taryn Terrell, saying that she will be facing having her first match soon, but she thinks that Thunder Rosa is scared of her. Come on. Thunder Rosa is not afraid of her. But all of a sudden, Melina comes out and confronts her. Tells her she has a lot of support. Who does she have? That is a very, very valid question. So we're going to see that coming up. Now, as you know, Trevor Murdoch is still trying to deal with the sudden loss. I think right now, the way I see it is this. Who will be the next person to challenge Nick Aldis for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship? The last person who was supposed to challenge was Marty Scurll, but that whole idea was scrapped due to the fact of the speaking out movement that took place last year in June. So I don't know if they're preparing for Trevor Murdoch to be that guy. So that is kind of like what I think is going to happen. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I do see. Now, next match, we have another tag team match. We got Matthew Nims teaming with Slice Boogie taking on the War King, Jax Dane and Crimson. Now, majority of the match, somehow they were able to neutralize Jax Dane. He was out cold outside the ring. Crimson did a great job trying to do things on his own, but he realized Dane was nowhere to be found, and all this and that. But he lost the match. I mean, it was a very effortless match, but what does this mean? What is the condition of Jax Dane being out of the ring? But we'll see how that happens. No. Nick Aldis comes out, gives an interview. Everybody assumed that he's going to hire a new member for Strictly Business. Now, keep in mind, Strictly Business's goal is to obtain every title that they have. Nick Aldis currently obtains the NWA Heavyweight title. Chris Adonis obtained the national championship, but Tom Latimer had a chance to obtain the television title, but he lost. So, but Camille has a number one contendership to obtain the NWA Women's Championship. So basically, that's what the speculation. But however, Nick Aldis saying that everything is open for business under his turf, but however, no one is safe, including the members of his own faction. This kind of steer a warning. Looks like Nick Aldis is putting everyone on notice. Now, I don't know how Tom Latimer was. He thinks that he will never do that, but you may never know. We've seen people that would just betray those in trust. That's how it would play out. Now, let's get to the main event, which was the National Television Championship match between Fred Rouser and the Pope. Now, keep in mind, this particular match only has 6 minutes and 5 seconds to run. Now, however, if you don't beat your opponent, it's a draw, but the champion retains the title. Now, Fred Rouser did a hell of a job, but however, it was the Pope who actually came on top, once again proving he's a fighting champion. However, in the post match, we have Austin Idol and Tyrus Congratulations. Now, I don't know what this means. Why is he coming out for this? Didn't he say he was at the world title? I don't know what goes on to Austin Idol's head, but we'll see what happens. But we'll wait till next week. But let's move on with AEW Dark. Alright, so we got AEW Dark. Now, the first match of the night, we have Dark Order, Stu Grayson, Evil Uno, and Alex Reynolds taking on Jake St. Patrick, Sage Scott, and Chandler Hopkins. I have to say, this particular match with this combination of Dark Order was very interesting. Now, we cannot deny the Stu and Evil are two amazing tag teams, but having Reynolds as a trio, very interesting to see a combination. However, they did allow for Reynolds to pick up the victory. I think this is going to be a very simple push. I'm not sure if he will be doing a lot of the single matches due to the fact that Silver will be out for a couple of weeks, even though he doesn't need surgery. But we'll see what happens down the line. Next match, we got Team Taz, Cage, Hobbs, Starks, along with Hook taking on Brick Aldridge, Justin Law, and Hayden Backlund. Now, the simple question we need to ask: do we still have the same problems between both Starks and Cage? As you know, ever since the loss of the street fight, things have not been the same. I don't know if Starks in the same page as Cage or Cage in the same page, whatever the scenario is. But however, they were able to pick up the victory, all thanks to Hobbs, who was the one guy who's not involved this much, even though he doesn't like how this is going. Next match, we got the Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus, along with Marco Stunt taking on Rex Lawless and Dean Alexander. This match went quickly. Basically, this is more of a tune-up. As you know, they will be facing Bear Country on Dynamite, which is going to be a killer match. I can't wait to see that. Bear Country is scheduled for a dark match in the main event. We'll get to that. Next match, we got a singles match. We got Fuego del Sol taking on Ryan Meneth. Now, you would have assumed that somehow Fuego would have won, but no, Brian Meneth was able to win the match. As always, Fuego, he's still on a losing streak. We'll see what happens then. Next match, we got the Butcher taking on John Cruz, the human side of Serpentico. It was a very simple match, and right now Serpentico is laughing right now on Twitter what an idiot John Cruz is. If you guys don't believe me, look on Twitter. You see, Serpentico is John Cruz. But the Snake Man doesn't like John Cruz. Next match, we got the Sea Stars, consistent of actual sisters, Ashley Vox and Delmy Eeksaw, taking on Jasmine Allure and Vert Vixen. Now, Sea Stars last time were teamed up with Vert Vixen in a losing effort, but this one was a very interesting match. Now, Ashley Vox does have one win in AEW against Alex Gracia, but I have to say that the Sea Stars really impressed me. I feel that AEW should bring more of the, how do I say, create more of the tag teams for women. Something that we should be involved in. Next match is another one's match. We got Vipress and Maddie Rinkowski taking on Kaylee King and Red Velvet along Big Swole. This was also another good match. I say right now, seeing Red Velvet and Kylie King along with Big Swole is a very impressive team. They should form a faction with these three girls. It's kind of interesting, of course. But don't forget, it was this team that actually won their match, as always, because they are the top stars. As you know, Red Velvet is now officially with AEW. So that's how I love to see. Next match, we got JD Drake taking on Baron Black. Man, this was another a very hard hitting match with JD Drake taking on Baron Black. But however, it was JD Drake who won his match with an amazing powerhouse style match. Next match, tag team, we got the Jersey boys, Sunny Kiss and Joey Janela taking on Casey Navarro and Aaron Fry. Another example. This is why I like Joey Janela and Sunny Kiss. They're a unique tag team, and I do like how they work together. Even if they had a bad match on a losing effort, but it was great. Next match, we got Matt Sydal along with his brother Mike taking on Mike Magnum. This one went quickly too. But however, do we think that this feud with him and Scorpio Sky is over? I don't know. We'll see what happens then. Then we got Matt Hardy taking on Barry Morales, but in the rafters, you see Darby Allin, who watches on. Now, I can tell you by this that Matt Hardy won the match, but however, he took offense of what Darby Allin called him, a sellout. He thinks that Darby's the one who's sold out. And now that he'll be gunning for his TNT title, we'll see where they're going to go. It's still no word when that match will be placed. Now we get to the main event. We got TH2 taking on Bear Country. Now this was an impressive match. I love Bear Country. They're a very powerhouse team. I love how they work. You can see that Jack Evans is a big, fast high flyer, but you cannot put down the strength of Bear Country, and they were able to pull it off by winning their match. But like I said, this coming Dynamite, they will face against Jurassic Express. Will be like King Kong versus Godzilla. So that is it for AEW Dark. So let's go with Ring of Honor. All right, so we're ending the episode with Ring of Honor. As you know what happened last week, there was a interview with Fred Yehi. As you know, he is the winner of the Pure Wrestling Gauntlet match, which is the first of its kind. Don't know when he'll be competing for the Pure Championship, but that's going to be an amazing match. Now, Jay Briscoe was on commentary, but he did verify that he will be in the 500 episode facing his brother Jay, which is going to be another interesting match to watch. Now, this next match, this is a rivalry that has gone down the deep end. Brian Johnson and Danhausen. Brian Johnson had beat him once, and so did Danhausen. But this time, Brian Johnson believes that Danhausen didn't belong in Ring of Honor. He thinks this is his show. He runs it. He's the Mecca. But of course, Danhausen didn't have no compelling argument to fight him again. But Brian Johnson feels like he wants to prove. He says that if he beats him, Danhausen will just leave. That's not what he does. Danhausen's not going to leave that quick, but even though he cheated again, but will this be enough for him to force Danhausen to leave? No, I don't think so. But we'll see what happens. Now, regarding of the fifth 500 episode for Ring of Honor, other than we know that the Briscoe brothers will be facing off each other, we're gonna have two Foundation members facing off each other for the Pure Championship. We got the Octopus, Jonathan Gresham taking on Jay Lethal. This is going to be an interesting match. Now, this isn't a rivalry. This is going to be a match where they can set an example. And I'm excited to see this. This is going to be one hell of a match. Now, the next match, which is the main event, we got Eli Ison taking on LSG. Now, these two competitors were supposed to face off last year, but because of the COVID, it kind of brought it down and basically postponing everything. Now, these two gentlemen are now gunning for the television title, which is currently in possession by Foundation member Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. But this was an interesting where we're seeing, okay, what I like about it, these are men who are willing to make a name for themselves to prove their worth. But however, Eli did something crazy where he sacrificed his body to go through LISJ through the ring ropes. But LISG put a lot of effort to ensure to prove this is his time to go and shine. But Eli feels it's time for him to shine under his terms, and that's exactly what he did. His defeat to LSG was amazing. So I don't know when he'll get an opportunity for the television title, but this is going to be great. So Eli Isom won his match. So I think that's pretty much it. Now, before I go, I want to remind you guys, as you know, I mentioned about Impact being on Thursdays. NXT Takeover is tomorrow on Wednesday and Thursday. And don't forget WrestleMania weekend. And don't forget the shows that they will throw in from GCW and WrestleCon. You can see them on Fight TV. But also, if you guys are fans of Got to Move Pro Wrestling, they will throw 3 back-to-back shows this coming Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I will review those in due time once they come out. Stay tuned for more Japanese wrestling with DDT, Stardom, Ice Ribbon, Diana, and many others. So I think that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah, and have a nice day.